Our first offseason mailbag of the year is here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Bear down 85. Now that the dust has settled, should we go all in on Maxx Crosby? I'm still back and forth. I think it depends on how much you have to give up. If it's 2 first-round picks, I'd be a little hesitant. But the Bears are picking in the 20s this year, and that's where you're hoping to be picking next year, if not the 30s. So, potentially I'd be open to it. If you can get them for a first, a day 2 pick, and like a player, if they want DJ Moore, I'd probably be open to that. We'll see what the Raiders do. They got to figure out who their coach is. By the time you're watching this, maybe they have their coach. Does Crosby want to stay? Does he want out? We'll see. I think all that's to be determined. But I do think that'll be a rumor that swirls this offseason. I'll just flip it around and ask you guys, should the Bears trade for Maxx Crosby? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Certainly wouldn't be against it. He would certainly help this team and this defense quite a bit. Club Dub with the 5. Would you rather have Maxx or Myles? I mean, I think Myles is a better player. I also think he's going to cost a lot more in a trade. And his contract's heftier for the duration of it. Next year, it would actually potentially be cheaper for the Bears, but after that, it would go up. So, for how much you would have to give up to get him, I'd probably lean Maxx. I mean, if the Browns said we want 3 ones, I wouldn't really blame him. I mean, the guy just set the single-season sack record. Sean B., who is trading for DJ with that contract? Great year, fellas. Appreciate the channel so much. I still think there's teams out there that would take on DJ Moore. So if you trade DJ Moore, I'm just pulling it up right now, the team trading for him, the cap hit next year is about $24 million. That's not crazy. And you can get out of the contract after next year pretty easily. So if the team trades for him, wants to extend him to lower the contract, or if it doesn't work out after a year, they can get rid of him. Now, to your point, it's probably not going to be it's not going to be a first. I don't think it's going to be a second or third round pick. You're probably looking at like a 4th or a 5th. Is it like Deebo Samuel last year, 5th round pick? Maybe you can squeeze out a 4th. I don't think you're going to get great return, but it's about freeing up the money more than anything else. You clear $16 million in cap space. So I think he's still a valuable player in the league. A team like the Titans, the Patriots have a ton of cap space. They could use another weapon. The Raiders, with drafting Fernando Mendoza, get him another weapon. So there would be teams out there that would trade a draft pick for DJ Moore. All right, today's show, new sponsor alert, Mars Men. Fellas, get going with Mars Men. I turn 33 this year. And here's the thing. Most men start losing testosterone around age 30 and about 1% every year after that. When the new year hit, I kind of treated it like a reset. I wanted to feel energized again, not worn down, especially after a long football season. So this year, I'm keeping it simple, and I'm doing something natural that supports my body where it needs it. That's why I'm taking Mars Men. It helps your body unlock usable testosterone so you can feel like yourself again. Mars Men supports healthy T levels, energy, and stamina. It has 8 natural and clinically dosed ingredients, including vitamin D, zinc, and boron, plus more. Mars Men is made in the U.S. and is third-party tested. You can also get a 90-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Worst case, if you don't absolutely love it, you can get your money back. However, 91% of users report higher energy levels, so that's very unlikely. For a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. It's a perfect way to kick off the new year strong. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts at checkout. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show. Tell them our show sent you. Bears Now by Chat Sports. mengotomars.com. Aaron Acosta, appreciate the super chat. Who do you think they should draft day 1 and 2? I mean, in a perfect vacuum, I would take 2 defensive linemen and either a linebacker or a safety. Like, you know how last year they hit on 4 offensive draft picks? Like, can you hit on 4 defensive draft picks or at least 2 or 3? That's what I would be trying to do, unless, of course, you trade some of your premium picks for an established player like a Maxx Crosby. Marcus, I know this is going to be a DA draft, but hypothetically, if Jeremiah Love falls, would you take him or trade back? I mean, if he was there at 25, I think you'd at least be tempted. I also think there's no chance he falls to 25. But if he does, you'd have to consider it because I think he'd be by far the best player available. But I don't even think he probably makes 15 in this draft. Some mocks have him going third. So yeah, I think it's kind of a moot point. But if he did, you'd have to consider it at that point. Subscribe to Bears Now. We got you covered throughout the offseason. It's nice that the offseason didn't start until mid-late January for once. Hopefully next year it starts in February. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We got you covered here on Chicago Bears Now. All right, impact. Feels like the D-line is the biggest need in the offseason. Who would your potential targets be? We'll do a free agent targets. We'll do a trade targets. But, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Trey Hendrickson, those are going to be some names that we'll talk about in free agency. Certainly, we'll see what the defensive tackle market looks like. Crosby on the trade market. Could have Danielle Hunter spring loose from Houston. We'll see. But, I think, Jeffrey Simmons, getting an impactful defensive lineman or two is going to be something I want to see the Bears try to do. DC Viper, could Gervon Dexter become a trade candidate after last night? He has been extremely mediocre and just not what we were hoping for as a run defender. Yeah, he's just not very good against the run. He flashes as a pass rusher, but it's not enough, right? Like, if he was awesome as a pass rusher and just not very good against the run, like Javon Hargrave. Like, Javon Hargrave at his peak is a really good pass rusher, not very good against the run. But you know what? When you're impacting the quarterback that much, you kind of live with it. He impacts the quarterback, but not often enough to kind of make up for his poor run defense. So you add that all up, to your point, he's kind of mediocre. Like, he's fine. I think he's more of a third defensive tackle on a good D-line, not a starter. So, rotation player. You took him in the third round. He's probably second round. He's probably performed more like a third or fourth. Not a bad draft pick, but not one that I'm probably keeping long term. I don't know if he'll become a trade candidate, but it wouldn't shock me. Guys like this get moved entering their last year. Maybe they trade him to a different scheme that fits him better. So certainly not off the table. Who do you guys think wins the Super Bowl this year? We're down to 4. Type LAR for the Rams, SCA for the Seahawks, NE for the Patriots, or DEN for the Broncos. Oscar, since we need a running back coach, let's sign James Adunze since he knows what's best for the Bears. I'm never going to – I shouldn't say never. I try not to, be that guy of, advising other parents because, as a parent, it's I know best for what's best for my kid, right? Me and my wife. Those are our decisions. But, I don't know, man. When you have a kid playing in the NFL and you're chirping all the time and then your son makes a couple of critical mistakes, I'm not saying it's fair for people to come on the attack, but you kind of open that door, right? My advice, go touch grass. Get off the internet. That's me included, by the way. Season's over. I'm going to try and scale it back a little. But it probably won't happen. Dennis, does left tackle concern you enough to draft one? I don't know. I want to know more about Ozzy's situation. I doubt they would draft one early, but day 3, there's always depth guys you can find. So, maybe they sign a guy in free agency for cheap, a swing tackle type. I do think that's going to be a storyline. It's unfortunate because you were kind of set. Even if Ozzy's your weak link, you're like, okay, he's plenty good enough as a starter. We've seen that. And then late in the game against Green Bay, he has that patellar injury. So we'll see what happens. But, I think it's certainly a possibility. I don't think you'd do it early in the draft, but I think you're going to have to add to that position. All right, take off, Dave. Any Ruben Hippolyte expectation next year? I'm hoping, this is a big offseason for him because I think they drafted him because what we've said throughout this live show, if you're watching live, I think they want more speed on that defense. That's why they took him. I think they said, hey, we're going to bring in this athlete and we're going to coach him up. And I just don't think it clicked for him in year 1. So they couldn't trust him. You're hoping he can at least be a contributor next year. I mean, at minimum, he's got to be able to play special teams. That's what shocked me the most. I thought at minimum with his athletic profile, he can fly around on kickoff coverage, and something happened. I don't know if he's in the doghouse or what, but you got to at least get special teams value out of him moving forward. If not, that's pretty disappointing, to say the least. All right, follow me on social media at HGramNFL. That's where you can find me across all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We're still going to be pumping out content over there, sliding the DMs as well. They're wide open, so give me a follow and check me out on those platforms, and we'll continue to pump out the content. Bear down.